Chapter 1129. Haha. It's really very suitable. I haven't experienced this feeling for a long time. The five-colored giant ape laughed heartily. Seeing this, Su Chen's eyes also emitted a crystal light. The weapon spirit and the integrated five extremes mountain were perfectly compatible. Most of them were reluctant to leave the integrated five extremes mountain. And the integrated five extremes mountain was his. In this way, the weapon spirit was equivalent to being subdued. The power of the integrated five extremes mountain that had integrated with the weapon spirit had greatly increased, and his strength had also risen along with it. At this moment, he was both excited and excited. Su Chen, do you dare to fight with me now? The five-colored giant ape looked straight at Su Chen and vowed, as long as you can defeat me, you can enter and exit the passage to the Twilight Domain. Although he was only at the God Realm 2 stars, his real combat strength was comparable to the God Realm 3 stars. If Su Chen could really defeat him, entering the Twilight Domain would absolutely not be the slightest problem. Senior, I also want to make a bet with you. Su Chen said after a slight thought. A bet? The five-colored giant ape pondered for a moment, and then said, Let's hear it. Su Chen coughed lightly and said solemnly, If I can't defeat Senior, the integrated five extremes mountain will be given to Senior. Otherwise, I hope that Senior will follow me. To completely subdue the weapon spirit, he must make it willing. And defeating it through a bet was also fair and square. For an existence like the weapon spirit, as long as it agreed, it would not go back on its word. Good boy, you actually have this idea. The five-colored giant ape snorted, and then said with a smile, I agree. He had thought it through. Whether he won or lost, it was actually good for him. If he won, he could get a perfectly compatible body. If he lost, it would prove that Su Chen was definitely a rare super genius in the world. Following such a character was not a shameful thing. Of course, he did not think that Su Chen had the ability to defeat him. Su Chen was overjoyed and said with a smile, Since Senior has agreed, then Junior won't be polite. As soon as he finished speaking, he directly used the Atlas shape-shifting technique. After his body soared to 10 feet, his cultivation instantly advanced to the God Realm 2 stars. And the terrifying aura emanating from his body was even stronger than the five-colored giant ape. Shape-shifting technique. God Realm 2 stars. Seeing this, the five-colored ape's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. He never thought that Su Chen actually had such a trump card. In this way, there might really be a possibility of defeating him. However, the five-colored giant ape was also a proud and haughty individual. How could it be suppressed by Su Chen's aura? Soon after, a strong fighting spirit was emitted from his body. Su Chen's essay battle. The five-colored giant ape roared, clenched a huge fist, and smashed down toward Su Chen from the air. U5's strange smile flashed across Su Chen's mouth. Immediately after, he directly used the 100 times great strength technique and golden scale arm. He also clenched a golden fist and directly bombarded the five-colored giant ape. You're still too young. The five-colored giant ape sighed softly. After fusing with the integrated five extremes mountain, his defensive power was comparable to a divine weapon, and his strength had increased several times. It was no exaggeration to say that even a God Realm 3 stars strength was inferior to his. Su Chen actually chose to fight him head-on. He was simply overestimating himself. In the next moment, the two huge fists collided without any fancy moves. A loud rumble shook heaven and earth. The entire Wind Rider Island trembled violently. Chapter 1130. The five-colored ape suddenly felt an invincible force attacking it. Before it could react, it was blasted away like a shooting star. Rumble! On the way, it crashed through dozens of tall mountains. It flew for more than 1,000 meters before it stopped. Fortunately, its defense was comparable to a divine weapon. This level of impact was not enough to cause much damage to it. However, it was inevitable that it would embarrass itself. Good boy, why are you so powerful? The five-colored ape quickly flew out. It widened its eyes and stared at Su Chen. Its eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. After merging with the integrated five extremes mountain, its power had surpassed the level of a 3-star immortal realm cultivator. However, in front of Su Chen, it was like an ant trying to shake a tree. They were not on the same level at all. Su Chen was only a human. How could he have such divine power? It's just a little trick. Senior, please don't laugh at me. Su Chen said lightly. After seeing that the five-colored ape was unscathed, he was not shocked but delighted. The more powerful the five-colored ape was, the more help it would be to him. At this moment, he was even more determined to subdue the five-colored ape. A little trick? The five-colored ape's face darkened. It said unhappily, "So you still have some tricks that you haven't used?" After being sent flying by Su Chen's punch, it was clear that it was no match for Su Chen. However, it was impossible for it to admit defeat so easily. Senior, if you don't admit defeat, I can still take a look at it. Su Chen smiled faintly. The five-colored ape was obviously not convinced. Since that was the case, he might as well beat it until it was convinced. How arrogant! Then I'll take a look. The five-colored ape roared. In the next moment, a stream of five-colored flowing light condensed on its fist. It emitted 5 different magical waves of different attributes. Its aura was unusually powerful. Su Chen, take this. When the five-colored flowing light condensed to the extreme, the five-colored ape raised its hand and punched out. There was a loud explosion. The five-colored flowing light shot out like a five-colored river of stars, heading straight for Su Chen. In the face of such a violent attack, Su Chen's expression did not change at all. Since his debut, he had seen all kinds of storms and waves. Although the power of the five-colored flowing light was terrifying, in his view, it was only twice as powerful as Ding Shang using the heaven-splitting violet light spear. At that time, when he was only at the deity realm 1 star, he dared to fight with his bare hands. Now that he had reached the level of God realm 2 stars, he didn't care about them at all. And this time, he still had to take it with his bare hands. Firstly, he had the confidence to do so. Secondly, he could use this to completely intimidate the five-colored giant ape. Petty tricks. Su Chen smiled contemptuously. He released his spiritual power and wrapped it around his hand. At the same time, he raised his golden palm and grabbed forward. What do you want? The five-colored giant ape was dumbfounded. It was true that it wanted to compete with Su Chen, but it definitely didn't want Su Chen to get hurt because of this. But now, Su Chen actually wanted to take the five-colored flowing light with his bare hands. Wasn't he courting death? However, the five-colored flowing light had already been shot out. It was absolutely impossible to stop it. Did it have to watch Su Chen get blown to death? The five-colored giant ape was annoyed. It shouted anxiously, "Su Chen, dodge quickly!" Hearing this, Su Chen was unmoved. In the next moment, the five-colored flowing light hit Su Chen's palm heavily. However, the expected scene of Su Chen being blown to pieces did not happen. Instead, the five-colored flowing light was directly crushed by Su Chen after he grabbed it. That feeling was like pinching a balloon and bursting it. There was a loud bang. It did not cause any damage to Su Chen at all. Chapter 1131. Oh my God! The five-colored ape's eyes widened, and its jaw almost dropped. Taking his strongest attack head-on with his bare hands was something that even a God Realm 3 stars expert wouldn't dare to think about. However, Su Chen did it, and he looked very relaxed. How strong was Su Chen's physical defense? The five-colored ape stared at Su Chen in a daze, and for a moment, it fell into a trance. Senior, you've attacked twice in a row. This time it's my turn to attack. Su Chen reminded it with a smile. Since he wanted to beat the five-colored ape into submission, he had to attack at least once. You still have some tricks up your sleeve? The five-colored ape was shocked. Su Chen's unparalleled strength and strong defense had already made it feel incredible. Did he have other tricks up his sleeve? Senior, if you admit defeat, I don't mind. Su Chen smiled but didn't say anything. Bring it on. The five-colored ape gritted its teeth and said. His 2 attacks were easily neutralized by Su Chen, and he was also angry. He didn't believe that Su Chen could crush him with his defense that was comparable to a divine artifact. Then I won't hold back. The corners of Su Chen's mouth curled up, and then he displayed the 10,000 lights 10 shadows fighting technique. In an instant, 10 shadows that looked exactly like him appeared in the air, and each of them exuded an extremely violent aura. In addition to the 10,000 swords in one and the astral storm, The 10,000 lights fighting skill and the combination of 3 types of magic could be considered a second-grade attack. The 10,000 lights 10 shadows fighting technique was even more shocking, and it was perfect to deal with the 5-colored giant ape. What kind of magic is this? The 5-colored ape opened its eyes wide, and its body trembled slightly. Originally, it was very confident in its defense. However, after seeing 10 Su Chen appear at once, its confidence was completely shattered. 1 Su Chen was enough to make him suffer. 11 Su Chens joining forces to attack him. Wouldn't he be blasted into ashes? At this moment, it was extremely anxious and was considering whether to surrender or not. Suddenly, it sensed several types of magic fluctuations. What was going on? The 5-colored ape's expression froze, and it subconsciously looked up. When it saw the 5 Su Chens releasing their respective spells, its eyelids twitched violently. Spiritual psychic? Su Chen was also an all-element spiritual psychic? And he had reached the divine state. At that moment, the 5-colored ape's thoughts came to a halt. Thinking that Su Chen was a divine state evolver and a spiritual psychic, didn't that mean that Su Chen was a full-time cultivator? And he had reached the divine state? It was terrifying. Since ancient times, there had never been such a monster. Stop. I admit defeat. Realizing that Su Chen was a full-time divine state existence, the 5-colored ape no longer cared about its face and shouted loudly. Su Chen smiled faintly and stopped what he was doing. His main purpose was to subdue the weapon spirit. So far, it seemed that he had left an indelible impression on the other party. Since he had achieved his goal, there was no need to make a move. Soon, the 10 phantoms disappeared in mid-air. Su Chen also stopped the Atlas shape-shifting and returned to his original appearance. Su Chen, are you really a human? The 5-colored ape looked at Su Chen and probed. The human race could only be regarded as a very ordinary race. How could there be a peerless genius like Su Chen? It now suspected that Su Chen was a descendant of one of those super races. It's the real deal. Su Chen said affirmatively. Although he had transmigrated, he was indeed a human. There was no doubt about that. Chapter 1132. It's really the human race. The 5-colored giant ape muttered involuntarily. 10,000 years ago, the human race also had several godly state experts and was considered a large race among the tens of thousands of races. But no matter who it was, the difference between them and Su Chen was not small. They were not on the same level at all. Senior, shouldn't we go to the Twilight Domain? Su Chen took a breath and said. Time waits for no man. Since the artifact spirit had been subdued, he had to hurry up and get down to business. The 5-colored giant ape recovered and asked, Su Chen, why do you want to enter the Twilight Domain? He had wanted to ask about this for a long time but never had the chance. Since he had decided to follow Su Chen, there were some things that he naturally had to ask. Su Chen did not hide anything and told him about the invasion of the Jianghu domain by the vicious barbarian domain, and the search for Luan Qingjing in the Twilight Domain. I see. The 5-colored giant ape came to a realization and was filled with respect for Su Chen. In the face of the oppression of the two domains, Su Chen did not shrink back and did not give up the Jianghu domain. This was the same as what they did to resist the invasion of the vicious barbarian domain 10,000 years ago. Moreover, the pressure Su Chen had to bear was even heavier because he was fighting against two domains alone. Senior, do you know Luan Qingjing? Su Chen asked. The Twilight Domain was vaster than the Jianghu domain. If he did not have an accurate target and searched everywhere, he did not know how long it would take to find her. Time did not allow him to do so at all. There should be Luan Qingjing in the Qinghe clan. The 5-colored giant ape thought for a moment and said. The Qinghe clan, Su Chen whispered and asked. Senior, how is the relationship between the Qinghe clan and our Jianghu domain? The 5-colored giant ape had said before that there were only 2 races in the Twilight Domain, and they had fallen into internal strife. If the relationship between the Qinghe clan and the Jianghu domain was good, they could join forces with the Qinghe clan to destroy the other race. In return, the Qinghe clan should give him some Luan Qingjing. There was even a high possibility that they could invite the Qinghe clan's God Realm 3 stars to help them. The Qinghe clan has a pretty good relationship with us, the 5-colored ape said slowly. That makes things easier. Su Chen nodded and asked, what about the other race? The other clan is called the Red Devil clan. They are closer to the ferocious barbarian domain and are hostile to us. If it weren't for the Xianxia clan, they might have joined forces with the ferocious barbarian domain to deal with us, the five-colored giant ape said. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes flashed with a cold light. He had originally planned to join forces with the Xianxia clan to destroy the Red Devil clan. When he learned that the Red Devil clan was hostile to the Jianghu domain, he had an excuse to do so. Senior, there's no time to lose. Let's go to the Twilight domain, Su Chen said. The five-colored ape nodded and turned back into a palm-sized five-colored mountain. It flew into Su Chen's hand. His body was too big. If he did not shrink, he would not be able to pass through the domain passage. Su Chen put away the intelligent war chariot and held the five-colored mountain with one hand. He went into the domain passage and soon disappeared. After a whirlwind, Lin Yu appeared in a stone cave. It was dark all around and it was difficult to see with the naked eye. However, for Su Chen, who had mental strength, it was the same whether there was light or not. Through the observation of his mental strength, Su Chen quickly found the exit and left the stone cave. The moment he came out, he suddenly found that he was in a group of meteorites. Chapter 1133. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and glanced around. He quickly took out the intelligent war chariot and said, "Satoshi, search the surroundings." Yes. The intelligent war chariot began to search quickly. After a few breaths it replied, "Master, there are tens of thousands of aliens fighting on a huge island 1,000 kilometers away from the meteorite group." Hearing this, Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. In the Twilight domain, the aliens fighting each other must be the Xianxia clan and the Red Demon clan. Thinking of this, he continued to order, "Satoshi, check the strongest among them." Soon, the intelligent war chariot replied, "Master, the strongest are 2 3-star God Realm experts. In addition, there are dozens of 1-star and 2-star God Realm experts." There are 3-star God Realm experts? Su Chen's expression froze. He had learned from the device spirit that the Xianxia clan and the Red Demon clan each had a 3-star God Realm expert. This meant that on that island, these two major clans were likely to have an ultimate showdown. However, it was still unknown which of the two clans was stronger for the time being. Su Chen pondered for a while and said, "Satoshi, go into flight mode and transmit the image." Yes. The intelligent war chariot soon became dozens of meters in size. Su Chen entered it and looked at the central control screen first. On a gigantic island in the void, the entire sky was filled with scenes of the mutated races slaughtering one another. The lowest cultivation level of these aliens was at the sage stage. The battle was also extremely fierce. From time to time, someone would be blown up and die on the spot. Su Chen noticed that the side that had the absolute initiative was a 2-meter-tall alien with dark red skin and 2 long and narrow ears. The ones who were in a passive position were some aliens with bluish skin and relatively short ears. Most of the people who were killed were their clansmen. Because Su Chen had never seen the Xianxia clan and the Red Demon clan, he could not tell them apart for the time being. After thinking for a moment, he said to the five-colored mountain in his hand, "Senior, take a look at the central control screen. Which side is the Xianxia clan?" The five-colored mountain flashed, and 2 eyes as big as copper bells appeared from within. They glanced at the central control screen and replied, "Su Chen, those green-skinned ones are from the Xianxia clan." In that case, the Xianxia clan has fallen into a passive position. Su Chen's eyes showed a thoughtful look. Since the Xianxia clan was in a passive position, he would be providing timely assistance if he went over to help. After defeating the Red Demon clan, it should not be a big problem to ask for some Luanqing crystals from the Xianxia clan. Su Chen, the patriarch of the Xianxia clan, Zhang is in danger. The artifact spirit suddenly reminded. Su Chen hurriedly looked at the central control screen and saw a white-haired elder from the Xianxia clan being slashed to the island by a man from the Red Demon clan who was the size of a small mountain. The violent impact shattered a large part of the island, and the shockwave also affected hundreds of Xianxia clan members, tearing them into pieces on the spot. After landing, Zhang Qingquan opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was dispirited. After suffering such a heavy blow, he was obviously seriously injured. Is the Red Demon clan's 3-star God realm so strong? Su Chen frowned slightly. They were both 3-star God realm, but Zhang Qingquan was beaten until he almost lost his ability to fight. The difference in strength was too great. The artifact spirit reminded, Zhang Chengquan and Pang Hui of the Red Demon Clan are about the same in strength. The reason why he was crushed is very likely that Pang Hui's saber is a top-grade divine weapon. Hearing this, Su Chen nodded. The power of a divine weapon was very great, and he had seen it before. If Pang Hui had a top-grade divine weapon, he could indeed suppress Zhang Chengquan. It was reasonable for him to severely injure Zhang Chengquan with one blow. Chapter 1134. Su Chen did not want the Qinghe clan to be defeated, nor would he watch Zhang Chengquan be killed. He directly ordered the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, kill them. Yes. The intelligent war chariot drove at full speed and sped toward the giant island. In its level 20 form, its speed was extremely fast, and it covered 1,000 kilometers in the blink of an eye. The sudden appearance of a white spaceship stunned the people of the Qinghe clan and the Red Demon Clan. When Lin Yu walked out of the intelligent war chariot, the people of the two clans were extremely surprised. In the Twilight Domain, there were only two clans. Judging from Su Chen's appearance, he was obviously an outsider. Boy, which domain are you from? What are you here for? Pang Hui stared at Su Chen intently, and his voice was unusually cold. Since Su Chen was emitting the aura of a godly state expert, he did not attack Su Chen immediately for the sake of caution. I'm from the human clan of the Zhanhuan domain. My purpose here is very simple. I want to cooperate. Under the gaze of the experts, Su Chen's face did not change as he said calmly. Zhanhuan domain? The people of the Qinghe clan and the Red Demon Clan both revealed strange expressions. They had heard of the Zhanhuan domain before. It was a very low-level domain. Especially after the great battle 10,000 years ago, almost all the godly state experts had fallen. It was rumored that there were only 2 or 3 godly state experts among the tens of thousands of clans in the Zhanhuan domain. It could be said that every godly state expert was the guardian of the Zhanhuan domain and would not leave easily. Then, why did this human godly state expert dare to come to the Twilight domain? Was he not afraid of being killed? Pang Hui looked at Su Chen again and said with interest, Boy, tell me what you want to cooperate with. The person I want to cooperate with is not you. Su Chen smiled faintly, then looked at Zhang Chengquan and said seriously, Clan leader Zhang, I want to join forces with your Qinghe clan to kill the Red Demon Clan. What do you think? What? Kill the Red Demon Clan? As soon as these words came out, the surroundings suddenly fell silent. Everyone looked at Su Chen in a daze. Their expressions were very complicated. Judging from the aura emitted from Su Chen's body, he was only slightly stronger than God Realm 1 star. He definitely wasn't at God Realm 2 stars. With this bit of strength, he dared to claim that he could kill the Red Fiend race? How ridiculous was this? Zhang Chengquan swallowed his saliva and smiled bitterly. My human friend, I would like to cooperate with you, but I'm afraid it's impossible to exterminate the Red Demon race. If Su Chen was a God Realm 3 stars existence, perhaps there would be a glimmer of hope. The key point was that Su Chen wasn't even at God Realm 2 stars. In front of Pang Hui, he was no different from an ant. What was the point of working together? However, Su Chen was here to help, so he couldn't say anything too unpleasant. Clan leader Zhang, you may not know my strength well enough. In fact, I am quite confident in dealing with a Divine Realm 3 stars. Su Chen rubbed his nose and said calmly. Zhang Chengquan was dumbfounded. A God Realm 1 star had the confidence to kill a God Realm 3 stars? Was this young man's brain damaged? Ha. The people of the Red Devil Clan laughed unscrupulously. Originally, he thought that Su Chen was just an arrogant person who had not seen the world. He didn't expect that he was a fool. A God Realm 1 star wanted to kill a God Realm 3 stars. This idea was simply insane to the extreme. Kid, you are very interesting, but you have also successfully angered me. For this, I will make you regret living in this world. Pang Hui stopped laughing, and his face was full of coldness. As soon as he finished speaking, he gave a look to a God Realm 2 star Red Demon Clan member beside him. Chapter 1135. The latter understood tacitly. He raised a stone hammer the size of a millstone and rushed towards Su Chen. As a 2-star God Realm powerhouse, he was as fast as lightning and arrived in front of Su Chen in the blink of an eye. Brat! Go to hell! The two-star god realm red demon smiled ferociously and smashed the stone hammer in his hand down. All of a sudden, a mournful howl rang out in the void. In the face of this powerful hammer, Su Chen's face was emotionless. Just as the hammer was about to hit him, he raised his hand to grab it. He used the golden scale arm and 100 times strength technique at the same time. What was he trying to do? Seeing this scene, there were exclamations all around. Whether it was the Qinghe clan or the Red Demon clan, they were all dumbfounded. They saw clearly that Su Chen was preparing to grab the stone hammer with his bare hands. But how dare Su Chen do this? One had to know how powerful a two-star god realm powerhouse was. In addition, the stone hammer itself was also a sacred weapon. This hammer had earth-shattering power. Not to mention that Su Chen's cultivation was only at the one-star god realm. Even Pang Hui, who was at the three-star god realm, did not dare to take it with his bare hands. Could it be that he was crazy and wanted to court death? This thought appeared in everyone's mind. The two-star god realm red demon clan member was also stunned for a moment, but he quickly recovered. It didn't matter if Su Chen was scared silly or crazy. As long as this hammer fell, it would definitely smash Su Chen into pieces. Die! The two-star god realm red demon clan member roared and used all his strength to smash the hammer on Su Chen's palm. There was a loud bang. The stone hammer the size of a millstone smashed heavily on Su Chen's palm, splashing out a ball of resplendent golden light. However, to everyone's astonishment, Liqia's expression changed drastically. The expected situation of Su Chen being smashed into powder did not happen. Su Chen was like a towering mountain, standing in the void without moving an inch. Not only did the stone hammer not cause any ripples when it landed on his palm, it was also immobilized by his grip. Moreover, looking at Su Chen's expression, it seemed that he didn't use any strength at all. He looked abnormally relaxed. Oh my God! How did he do it? Just how strong was his body and strength? Witnessing this scene, everyone was stunned. He even wondered if he was dreaming. How can he be so strong? Pang Hui swallowed his saliva, and his expression became abnormally solemn. At first, he completely regarded Su Chen as an ant. Unexpectedly, the strength that Su Chen displayed was beyond imagination. Although he was only at the God Realm 1 star, relying on his valiant physique and unparalleled strength, it was enough to pose a threat to him. Compared to Pang Hui's solemn mood, Zhang Chengquan's eyes were sparkling. Su Chen's strength was so strong. If they joined forces, they might really have a chance of survival. On the other side, Su Chen took advantage of the two-star god realm red demon clan members' absent-mindedness to suddenly exert force and snatch the sacred weapon stone hammer, throwing it into the storage bag. A sacred weapon could be broken down and converted into energy points. The sacred weapon used by a god realm expert must be of very high quality, and the energy points that could be broken down and converted would definitely not be little. Of course, he wouldn't miss this opportunity. The two-star god realm red demon clan member was shocked. Losing the sacred weapon, his combat power dropped drastically. Facing Su Chen, this unfathomable expert, he no longer had the heart to underestimate him. However, before he could react, he felt a majestic force surrounding him and binding him in the blink of an eye. Chapter 1136. Mind Power. Godly State Spirit Reader Master. Realizing that Su Chen was also a godly state spirit reader master, the red demon was so scared that his liver and guts were torn apart. He struggled with all his might. However, he was shocked to find that he could not break free in a short time. It was true that Su Chen's spirit reader master cultivation was only at godly state 1 star. However, after consuming the essence origin fruit several times, the strength of his mind power had already surpassed the level of godly state 2 stars. That was why he could bind the other party until he could not move. At this moment, Su Chen held a pitch-black saber and slashed down quickly. A cold light flashed in mid-air, and the head of the red demon flew into the sky. Accompanying it were about 100,000 shards of various colors that shone with a luster. Although he had expected that killing the red demon might also drop shards. However, when he really saw it, Su Chen still could not hide his excitement. There were thousands of red demons present. If all of them were killed, the number of shards that would drop could almost exceed 1 million. Although this number was not enough for him to advance to godly state 2 stars, it was enough to advance the illusionary blaze feather divine dragon to the level of a divine beast. In this way, his strength would definitely rise along with it. Hiss! At the same time, with the death of the red demon 2 stars, there was a sound of cold air being sucked in from the surroundings. Everyone looked at Su Chen with deep shock in their eyes. They had never thought that Su Chen, who was only at Godly State 1 star, could easily kill a Godly State 2 stars expert. This made them feel incomparably incredulous. It's actually so easy to kill an enemy of a higher level. After witnessing Su Chen's unparalleled strength, Pang Hui's expression became even more solemn. His evaluation of Su Chen also increased a little. With the strength that Su Chen had displayed so far, he could indeed compete with him. So strong. Zhang Chengquan was extremely excited. The stronger Su Chen was, the greater the chances of their Qinghe clan surviving. Boy, I have to say that you are indeed very strong and qualified to fight with me. But if you want to defeat me, it's no different from wishful thinking. Pang Hui glared at Su Chen, his face gradually turning cold. It was one thing for Su Chen to be qualified to fight with him, but it was another thing for him to defeat him. In his opinion, Su Chen could totally be called the #1 powerhouse below Deity Realm 3 stars. However, there was still a gap between him and the 3-star God Realm. At least, he was slightly weaker than Zhang Chengquan. On the other hand, he could easily crush Zhang Chengquan. Comparing the two, it was not difficult to crush Su Chen. Is that so? Su Chen smiled contemptuously and said coolly, "Do you think that you can posture in front of me just because you're Deity Realm 3 star? You still have a long way to go. Is there a need to be so arrogant?" Zhang Chengquan couldn't help but click his tongue. Indeed, Su Chen was very strong. He was invincible among those of the same level, and it was easy for him to kill enemies of a higher level. But no matter how strong he was, he wouldn't be a match for a Deity Realm 3 stars, right? Was it really a good idea to anger Pang Hui like this? Was he fearless? Or is ignorance not guilty? Wildly arrogant. The group of Red Fiend clan members were agitated and started cursing one after another. Pang Hui had always been an invincible existence in their eyes. But Su Chen dared to humiliate him to his face. Simply had no idea of death and danger. Boy, I'm not afraid of you being stubborn. In a while, I'll let you know the outcome of offending me. Pang Hui's fury reached the peak. A monstrous killing intent rolled endlessly like the sea waves. His gaze when looking at Su Chen was bone-piercing iciness. Stop hooting. Bring it on. See how I'll take care of you. Su Chen was somewhat impatient. Pang Hui kept talking and did not make a move. He already did not plan on letting Pang Hui continue pretending. Chapter 1137. Then you can go to hell. Pang Hui could no longer hold back the anger in his heart. He roared and charged toward Su Chen. As he approached, he raised his divine artifact long blade and slashed down at Su Chen, vowing to cut Su Chen into pieces with one slash. Su Chen was fearless. He raised his hand and threw out the 5-colored mountain. Suddenly, the 5-colored mountain expanded to 20 feet in size. It was glowing with 5-colored light and emitted a terrifying magic wave. Moreover, one could vaguely see the shadow of a giant ape pounding its chest and roaring at the sky. Although the primordial 5 Extremes mountain had not reached the level of a divine weapon, after fusing with the weapon spirit, the power it could produce had already surpassed that of an ordinary divine weapon. Even if it did not reach the level of a top divine weapon, it was not far from it. There was a loud bang. The divine weapon saber slashed heavily on the 5-colored mountain. Heaven and earth shook, and the void distorted. The 5-colored mountain was in a stalemate for a while. Then, it trembled violently and was finally sent flying by the saber. Ha! Brat, do you think you can show off in front of me just because you have a spiritual mountain comparable to a divine weapon? I'd like to see what other tricks you have. Pang Hui laughed unscrupulously. He instinctively thought that Su Chen was so arrogant because he had a spiritual mountain. Now that the spiritual mountain was sent flying by the saber, Su Chen was reduced to a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. You're too naive. A hint of mockery appeared on Su Chen's face. As soon as he finished speaking, his body quickly grew taller, and in the blink of an eye, he became 100 feet tall. His entire body was rippling with a layer of majestic pressure. His cultivation had reached the level of God Realm 2 stars. Transformation technique. God Realm 2 stars. Sensing the change in Su Chen's aura, the The surrounding Qinghe clan and Red Fiend clan members roared in shock. Su Chen had strength that far surpassed his peers. Now that he had advanced to God Realm 2 stars, he might really be able to wrestle with Pang Hui. So this is his real trump card. Zhang Chengquan was extremely excited. At first, he also felt that Su Chen was boasting too much. Unexpectedly, Su Chen still had such a powerful trump card. After thinking about Su Chen's powerful fighting strength, he felt that Pang Hui might not be a match for Su Chen. The hope of survival rekindled in his heart. 2 stars of the divine realm. The smile on Pang Hui's face completely disappeared and was replaced by a deep seriousness. Whatever Zhang Chengquan could think of, he could too. Su Chen, who advanced to Deity Realm 2 stars, absolutely had the qualifications to go head-to-head with him. Su Chen narrowed his eyes as he scanned Pang Hui. Suddenly, he punched out from afar. This punch seemed ordinary, but in fact, it wasn't. He had already unleashed the concept-level magical power, Drunken Life. Being targeted by this strange attack, Pang Hui felt his soul tremble. By the time he realized that something was wrong, Su Chen had already arrived in front of him like a ghost. Petty tricks. Pang Hui was indeed an expert of Deity Realm 3 stars. His willpower was quite strong. He gritted his teeth and quickly recovered. Then, he raised his divine weapon Long Saber. Just as he was about to slash down, his vision suddenly blurred. He saw Su Chen turn into 2 into 4. In the blink of an eye, 10 shadows that were exactly the same as Su Chen appeared. As an avatar? Pang Hui was slightly stunned. The next moment, his expression changed drastically. Because he could clearly feel that the cultivation bases of the 10 shadows had all reached Deity Realm 2 stars. Moreover, these 10 shadows and Su Chen's original body joined forces to surround him and immediately launched an attack. Moreover, what was even more unbelievable was that 5 of the phantoms were casting spells of various elements, while the other 5 were all casting spiritual power. Su Chen's original body held a pitch-black long sword and slashed down from the sky. Chapter 1138. Witnessing this scene, the onlookers from the 2 clans were all dumbfounded. Even Zhang Chengquan, who was at God State 3 stars, had his mouth wide open. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. It was already shocking that Su Chen could create 10 phantoms with the same strength. What was even more terrifying was that he was a full-time cultivator and had reached the God State. Moreover, he was an all-element Dhamma psychic. Unbelievable. Unimaginable. Even though he had lived for tens of thousands of years, he had never seen a cultivator with such terrifying talent. Not to mention seeing it, he had never heard of it. Just when everyone was in a daze, Su Chen launched a brazen attack. The mind power that was like a vast ocean first bound Pang Hui, and then 5 spells blasted on Pang Hui's body one after another. Boom, boom. In a series of earth-shattering explosions, Pang Hui's figure was completely drowned out. Su Chen's main body held the chaos sky-splitting sword in his hand and slashed out a huge pitch-black vortex in the air. It emitted an extremely terrifying space-tearing force and slowly fell from above Pang Hui's head. Sizzle! Pang Hui let out a heart-wrenching howl amidst a series of tearing sounds. Ah! The howl shook the sky as if it contained some kind of power, causing those who heard it to tremble involuntarily. Because Su Chen's strength was too strong, he was not affected. However, after glancing at Pang Hui, his brows furrowed slightly. After suffering a round of violent attacks, Pang Hui's clothes were ragged and his hair was disheveled. He looked very miserable. However, his aura was still powerful. This meant that Pang Hui did not suffer any substantial injuries and still had the strength to fight. Our clan leader is mighty. Our clan leader is domineering. Sensing that Pang Hui's aura was still very strong, the group of red demons roared excitedly. On the other hand, the Qinghe clan members all looked extremely solemn. Originally, they thought that Su Chen's unparalleled attack could at least seriously injure Pang Hui, even if it could not kill him. They did not expect Pang Hui's strength to be far beyond their imagination. He was actually able to withstand it with just his physical body. If even such a divine ability couldn't kill Pang Hui, would Su Chen still have a chance? At this moment, the members of the Qinghe clan no longer thought highly of Su Chen. They believed that Su Chen was at his wit's end and would soon be killed by Pang Hui. Sigh. Zhang Chengquan let out a long sigh, his face filled with loneliness. Similarly, he did not think that Su Chen would have a chance. With Su Chen's defeat, their Qinghe clan would be completely eradicated. As expected of a Divine Realm 3 stars expert, Su Chen sighed with emotion. For the first time, a trace of seriousness appeared on his face.
Pang Hui was able to withstand the blow of the fighting skill of 10,000 lights 10 shadows.
His physical strength was as strong as his. He could indeed be regarded as a strong opponent. Hee. Brat, this is your strongest trump card, right? You want to kill me with this little bit of strength? Pang Hui laughed wildly and wantonly. After blocking Su Chen's fatal blow, his confidence was bursting. He no longer took Su Chen seriously. Do you think that's all I have? Su Chen pursed his lips and smiled faintly. Admittedly, the fighting skill of 10,000 lights 10 shadows was a powerful trump card, but it was not his most powerful one. The astral storm and the unification of 10,000 swords were his real trump cards. You still have a trump card? Pang Hui was shocked. Su Chen had shown enough means, and each of them was more powerful than the last. In particular, the blow just now almost took his life. If he still had a trump card, how powerful would it be? Would he be able to withstand it? Chapter 1139. Does Su Chen have a trump card? Zhang Chengquan suddenly looked forward to it. The expressions of the other members of the Qinghe clan also changed. They all looked at Su Chen with hope in their eyes. If it were someone else who said that they still had a trump card, they would even scoff. However, Su Chen was different. His strength was very explosive. From the moment he appeared until now, the shock he brought to them could not be any greater. If he really had a trump card, he might be able to turn the situation around in one fell swoop. Under everyone's gaze, Su Chen took a deep breath, raised his hand, and punched out. This punch was the super trump card, Astral Tempest. Since he succeeded in cultivating it, this was the first time he used it in actual combat. As this punch was thrown out, the void shook, and the sky and earth changed color. Suddenly, countless bright stars appeared in the void. They were like rivers of stars, standing between the heavens and the earth. In the next moment, hundreds of galaxies gathered together, forming an astral storm that was 1,000 feet in size, covering the sky and splitting the sun. The power it emitted could destroy heaven and earth. It gave people the feeling that the end of the world was coming. The moment the astral storm was formed, the surroundings fell into a suffocating silence. Everyone floated in the void in a daze, and their eyes were filled with deep shock and horror. Such a terrifying killing move, not to mention seeing it, he had never even heard of it. What kind of divine ability was this? At this moment, everyone's breathing stopped. Su Chen is too strong. Zhang Chengquan's teeth were chattering. Even a super powerhouse of the God Realm 3 stars still felt a sense of oppression when facing a great divine ability like the astral storm. He even thought that if he was the target of the astral storm, he would be torn to pieces in a single blow. How could he have such a terrifying killing move? Pang Hui's heart was filled with extreme fear. A feeling of being destroyed arose in his heart. He knew very well that in the face of such a killing move, no matter how strong his physical body was, he would definitely not be able to withstand it. As soon as this thought came to his mind, he turned around and fled without another word. Fleeing without a fight was simply a disgrace to a God Realm 3 stars powerhouse. However, in order to survive, he could not care so much. What face? What dignity? Compared to his life, what was it worth? You think you can escape? Su Chen smiled contemptuously and punched down. The astral river tempest that blotted out the sky disappeared with a whoosh. When it reappeared, it had completely enveloped Pang Hui. Rumble. Soon after, a series of rumbling sounds shook the world. A few breaths later, the astral river storm wreaked havoc and gradually dissipated. Dense spatial cracks appeared all around them, and a large amount of spatial turbulence surged out. At the center of the dissipating storm stood a desolate figure. It was Pang Hui. His body was badly mutilated, and his bones were clearly visible. His aura was extremely weak. Although he wasn't dead yet, he was only hanging on by a breath, barely hanging on. 3 stars of the divine realm is just oh. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and smiled contemptuously. You! Pang Hui opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. His body shook violently and his aura weakened rapidly. He was about to die. "I'll send you on your way." Seeing this, Su Chen raised his hand and performed the Pegasus Meteor Punch. 100 golden fist shadows bombarded Pang Hui's body like meteors, blasting him until not even a speck of dust was left. With the death of Pang Hui, hundreds of thousands of fragments emerged, emitting a dazzling luster. Chapter 1140. Pang Hui has really been killed. Zhang Chengquan's face was blank. From the beginning to the end, he never thought that Pang Hui, who had dominated the Twilight Realm for tens of thousands of years, would actually be killed by Su Chen. Even though he saw it with his own eyes, he still felt dazed. The other Qinghe clansmen were stunned for a moment before they became abnormally excited. With Pang Hui's death, the Red Demon clansmen became a pile of loose sand. No matter how many of them there were, they would not be able to do anything. Moreover, there was still Su Chen, this super powerhouse, around. The Red Fiend clan members were even more vulnerable. How could the Patriarch be dead? The Red Demon clansmen were still unwilling to believe that Pang Hui had been killed. But the truth was right in front of them. Even if they were unwilling to believe it, they had to accept it. When they realized that Pang Hui was really dead, a huge wave of panic spread in their hearts. Even Pang Hui, who was a God Realm 3-star, was killed. Su Chen's powerful strength was undoubtedly revealed. Then would Su Chen let them go? The answer was obvious. When Su Chen first arrived, he had threatened to eradicate them. Without Pang Hui's obstruction, Su Chen would attack them even more unscrupulously. Thinking of this, those God Realm Red Demons looked at each other and tacitly turned around and fled, completely ignoring the life and death of the Sage Red Demons. The remaining Sage Red Demons were dumbfounded, but they quickly reacted. All the God Realm powerhouses had run away. Wouldn't they be waiting for death if they stayed? Whoosh! Instantly, all the Red Demons fled in all directions. Of course, Su Chen would not let them escape. The Red Demons present were all Sage stage and above. Every time one of them was killed, a large number of fragments would drop. If all of them were killed, at least 1 million fragments would drop. "Senior, I'll leave those Sage Red Demons to you. Don't leave a single one alive." Su Chen shouted at the 5-colored mountain, then quickly chased after those God Realm Red Demons. No problem. The 5-colored mountain transformed into a 5-colored giant ape and caught up with the Sage Red Demons in an instant. It originally had a God Realm 1-star cultivation base. After fusing with the primordial 5 Extremes mountain, its strength soared greatly. Its true combat strength was comparable to a God Realm 2-star. Against a group of Sage-level existences, it was a one-sided massacre. For a moment, the entire void was filled with screams. On the other side, Su Chen exerted the speed enhancement function of the rapid war boots to the extreme. After catching up with the Red Demons in the Divine Realm, he killed them one by one. Half an hour later, Su Chen flew back from afar. Zhang Chengquan led a group of Qinghe clan members and stood respectfully at the side, waiting for Su Chen's arrival. Su Chen's cultivation was not as high as his. However, his combat prowess far exceeded his. When dealing with a powerhouse of Su Chen's level, he naturally had to show the proper attitude. After Su Chen returned, he collected all the fragments. In the end, the number reached a whopping 1,020,000. The harvest was exceptionally bountiful. Then, he arrived in front of Zhang Chengquan and the others. "Human friend, on behalf of the Qinghe clan, I thank you for saving our lives." Zhang Chengquan said gratefully. Today, if Su Chen hadn't appeared here, he would have died. The Qinghe clan would have been completely eradicated. Therefore, his gratitude to Su Chen came from the bottom of his heart. "My name is Su Chen. It's just a small matter." "You're welcome." Su Chen chuckled and said, "Clan leader Zhang, I still have something I need your help with." "What is it? Just tell me." Zhang Chengquan immediately replied. Su Chen's kindness to the Qinghe clan was as deep as the ocean. No matter what it was, he would find a way to complete it. Chapter 1141. Clan Leader Zhang. Have you heard of Luan Qingjing? Su Chen asked directly. The main purpose of this trip was Luan Qingjing. Since the Red Demon race had been dealt with, it was time to talk about business. Luan Qingjing, Zhang Chengkuan pondered for a moment, then said, Luan Qingjing is a high-quality ore with a wide range of uses, but only our Qinghe race has it. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes lit up, and he suppressed his excitement and said, Clan leader Zhang, Luan Qingjing is very important to me. Can you exchange some for me? If he were to ask for it directly, it would not be easy to say it out loud. It would be better to use the exchange method. Of course, he believed that Zhang Chengkuan would not accept his things. Su Chen, you are too polite. You saved our lives. What is a mere Luan Qingjing? Zhang Chengkuan said solemnly, then said, Although Luan Qingjing is a unique product of our race, there are not many of them. How many do you need? About 100. Su Chen thought for a moment and replied. Previously, he had communicated with the intelligent war chariot, and it was upgraded to the level 24 form. 100 Luan Qingjing was enough. 100, Zhang Chengkuan said in a low voice, then promised. Give me 3 days, I will gather enough. Thank you, clan leader Zhang. Su Chen was overjoyed and thanked him. With Luan Qingjing, he could immediately return to the Zhenhuan domain and deal with the joint attack of the vicious barbarian domain and the vast thousand domains. And the intelligent war chariot, which had been upgraded to the level 24 form, could completely resist a divine realm 3 stars. At that time, he could deal with Gu Batian with peace of mind. Later, Zhang Chengkuan arranged for his people to look for Luan Qingjing. After everything was arranged, he returned to Su Chen and asked, Su Chen, did something happen in the Zhenhuan domain? Although there was a domain passage between the Zhenhuan domain and the Twilight domain, they had not been in contact for thousands of years. Su Chen suddenly came here. It should not be just for Luan Qingjing, right? Clan leader Zhang's guess is right. Su Chen chuckled and explained the matter of Gu Batian invading the Zhenhuan boundary. Hearing this, Zhang Chengkuan's expression became extremely solemn. Compared to Wu Tsong and the Honorable God Source, he knew more about Gu Batian. Although Gu Batian was also at the immortal state level 3, he was no match for him at all. It was no exaggeration to say that even 2 Pang Hus together would not be a match for Gu Batian. Kong Zonghao of the 3 stars of the divine realm from the vast thousand domains was not to be underestimated. Although he couldn't compare to Gu Batian, he was definitely stronger than Pang Hui. Su Chen, I advise you to leave the Zhenhuan domain. Zhang Chengkuan sighed. If Gu Batian and Kong Zonghao joined forces, they would be able to destroy the world. Even if Su Chen's talent was outstanding and his strength was also abnormally powerful, he was still only at Deity Realm 1 star. Based on the strength he had displayed so far, he was only on par with Kong Zonghao. There was no way he would be a match for Gu Batian. If he continued to stay in the Zhenhuan region, he would only die. Clan leader Zhang, don't worry. If I face Gu Batian alone, I have 100% confidence that I can kill him. Su Chen said confidently. He was not bragging about this. With 2 trump cards and the second primordial spirit, killing Gu Batian would be a piece of cake. Zhang Chengkuan's expression froze. After he recovered, he reminded, Su Chen, Gu Batian is not someone that Pang Hui can compare to. Even 2 Pang Hus would not be a match for Gu Batian. He had some suspicions that Su Chen's confidence was inflated because he killed Pang Hui, and that was why he said such big words. Chapter 1142. I know a little about Gu Batian's background. Although he is very strong, I have more strength than what I have now. Su Chen said meaningfully, and then added, Of course the premise is that someone must help me stop Kong Zonghao. You still have a trump card? Zhang Chengkuan was shocked. Su Chen had shown enough means. If he still had a trump card, he might really be able to compete with Gu Batian. Su Chen, I can help you stop Kong Zonghao, Zhang Chengkuan gritted his teeth and said. With his strength, he was no match for Kong Zonghao at all. But he was confident that he could stop him for a while. The reason why he did this, in addition to returning Su Chen's favor, was because he had his own plans. Once the Zhenhuan domain fell, Gu Batian and Kong Zonghao's next target would naturally be the Twilight domain. He understood that helping Su Chen was equivalent to helping himself. Patriarch Zong, it's best that you can help. Su Chen was overjoyed. Although the intelligent war chariot had been upgraded to level 24 and could compete with Kong Zonghao, it was not very safe. With Zhang Chengkuan's help, he was relieved. In addition, don't worry, Patriarch Zong, I still have a war chariot that is about to be upgraded to God Realm 3 stars. When the time comes, there should be no problem for you to join forces to deal with Kong Zonghao. In order to reassure Zhang Chengquan, Su Chen pointed out that the intelligent war chariot was about to be upgraded. You still have a God Realm 3 stars war chariot? Zhang Chengquan was surprised. Generally speaking, the highest grade of a war chariot could reach level 10, which was quite impressive. A war chariot that could reach the saint level was almost rare. A war chariot that had reached the God Realm was unheard of. If what Lin Yu said was true, then there would be no danger for him to join forces with a God Realm 3 stars war chariot to deal with Kong Zonghao. Su Chen nodded and explained with a smile, to upgrade my war chariot to God Realm 3 stars, I need to consume 100 Luan Qing crystals. Otherwise it can't reach this level. I see. Zhang Chengquan suddenly understood. At this moment, he finally understood why Su Chen had come here. He was looking for Luan Qingjing to help the war chariot level up so that he could fight against Kong Zonghao. Su Chen, wait here. I'll go look for Luan Qingjing, Zhang Chengquan said. Luan Qingjing was of great importance. In order to avoid any mishaps, he planned to search for her personally.
Then I'll have to trouble Patriarch Zhang,
Su Chen said gratefully. After Zhang Chengquan left, he returned to the intelligent war chariot. Sitting in the driver's seat, Su Chen exchanged all the fragments he had collected before for energy points.
Then, he bought all kinds of constitution potions and gave them to the illusionary blazing feather divine dragon, which was enough to promote it to 1 star of the divine realm.
With the strength of the illusionary blaze feather divine dragon and the 5-colored hill, it was no match for a God Realm 3 stars. But it was more than enough to deal with some Deity Realm 2 stars. This way, he would be able to deal with Gu Batian at ease. After that, he opened the chaos space and chatted with the others, waiting for Zhang Chengquan's arrival. 3 days later, Zhang Chengquan arrived as promised. A group of God Realm experts of the Qinghe clan came with him. There were 11 of them. This time, Zhang Chengquan had made up his mind to go to the fantasy zone with Su Chen. He brought all the experts of the clan, ready to cut off all means of retreat. Chapter 1143. Su Chen did not pay much attention to the rest of the Qinghe clan. After all, some immortal state 1 or 2 stars could not change the situation. He was most concerned about Luan Qingjing. Only when Luan Qingjing gathered enough people would they have a chance of winning the battle with Gu Batian. Clan leader Zhang, where's Luan Qingjing? Su Chen asked anxiously. Zhang Chengquan took out a storage bag and handed it to Su Chen. He smiled and said, "Don't worry, they're all here. There's a total of 108 stones." In the past 3 days, he had almost turned the entire Twilight region upside down with his clan members. Finally, they gathered enough and did not disappoint him. Su Chen was overjoyed and opened the storage bag to check. Luan Qingjing looked almost the same as an energy stone in terms of appearance. However, the color was slightly different. The energy stone was sparkling and translucent, while the Luan Qingjing was green and gloomy. In addition, the energy contained in the two was worlds apart. For example, if the energy stone was a drop of water, the Luan Qingjing was an ocean. As he had never seen the Luan Qingjing before, Su Chen contacted the intelligent war chariot and asked it to help identify it. In the end, the answer was that the Luan Qingjing was indeed in the storage bag. Su Chen was completely relieved and then invited Zhang Chengquan and the others to get in the car. The purpose of this trip was more perfect than he had expected. It was time to return to the Jianghu domain. After everyone got in the car, Su Chen ordered, "Satoshi, return to the Jianghu domain." Yes. The intelligent war chariot drove at full speed and flew straight toward the domain passage in the meteorite group. On the way, Su Chen placed all the Luan Qingjing in the groove. However, it would still take some time for the intelligent war chariot to be upgraded to the level 24 form. 3 days later, Lin Yu returned to the Star Source Island in the Jianghu domain. During this period, the intelligent war chariot was successfully upgraded to the level 24 form. After the upgrade, the most direct change was that there was an additional form. They could transform into puppets, reaching a height of 300 meters. They looked like towering mountains. Their bodies flowed with a resplendent silver luster. Their defensive power was comparable to a top-grade sacred artifact. In addition, the power was also very terrifying. The power of one blow was almost the same as the power of Su Chen's heaven-reaching hundredfold vigorous technique. Although the intelligent war chariot didn't have many attacking methods, it was still very powerful.
However, in terms of defense and strength alone, the power that he could unleash was more powerful than Pang Hui.
When Zhang Chengkuan and the others saw that the intelligent war chariot had transformed into a puppet, their jaws almost dropped. Disregarding everything else, just his 300-meter-tall body alone gave people a strong sense of awe. In addition to the successful advancement of the intelligent chariot, the illusory blaze feather divine dragon had also successfully advanced to the level of 1 star of the divine realm. Compared to the intelligent war chariot's single attack method, it also had a special ability: raging flames burning the sky.
Raging flames incinerate the heavens had a very strong law of fire.
It was many times stronger than flaming phoenixes. Once enveloped by it, 1 star of the divine realm would instantly turn into ashes. Even if a divine realm 2 star came into contact with it, they would be severely burned. It could definitely be considered a powerful trump card.
Su Chen, you're finally back.
When he saw Su Chen, Wuxia was extremely excited. The second primordial spirit quietly returned to Su Chen's body. Senior, Gu Batian didn't send any more beasts over, right? Su Chen asked with a smile.
No.
Maybe he's afraid of you, so he hasn't made a move. Wuxia replied. When he saw Zhang Chengkuan and the other members of the Qinghe clan walking down from the intelligent war chariot, his expression froze. Chapter 1144. Senior, this is clan leader Zhang of the Qinghe clan in the Twilight Domain. The others are all God-state powerhouses of the Qinghe clan. They are all here to help us. Su Chen introduced them and pointed out the purpose of Zhang Chengkuan and the other Qinghe clan members coming here. Then, he introduced Wuxia to Zhang Chengkuan. Hiss! Wuxia took a deep breath, his face full of shock. He never thought that the Qinghe clan members who came here were all God-state powerhouses, including Zhang Chengkuan, who was a God-state 3-star. Moreover, to his surprise, these God-state powerhouses were all here to help. In this way, they really had the strength to fight with Gu Batian. Clan leader Zhang, thank you so much for coming to help, Wuxia said gratefully. Fighting with Gu Batian was extremely dangerous, and there was a possibility of dying. Zhang Chengkuan and the others could still come here without hesitation despite knowing this, which made him very touched.
Brother Wu, you're too polite.
Zhang Chengkuan smiled and continued, Su Chen saved our clan's life, so it's only right that we come here to help. Saved his life? Wuxia was a little confused. Zhang Chengkuan told him about Su Chen killing Pang Hui and a group of red demon powerhouses in the Twilight Domain.
Su Chen is so powerful?
Wuxia was shocked. At first, when Su Chen said that he had a way to deal with Gu Batian, he thought it was unlikely. After learning that Su Chen killed Pang Hui, he was full of confidence in Su Chen. After all, Su Chen did not bring his second primordial spirit with him to the Twilight Domain this time, causing his strength to be greatly reduced. But even under such circumstances, he could still kill a God-state 3-star powerhouse, which showed how powerful he was. Once he joined forces with his second primordial spirit, his strength would definitely soar greatly, and it would not be an extravagant hope to deal with Gu Batian. Senior, how long until the domain passage is completely stabilized? After getting to know each other, Su Chen changed the topic and asked about serious matters. When the domain passage was stabilized, which was also when Gu Batian came, he had to pay attention to it.
About 20 days.
Wuxia thought for a moment. Then, he said with a dignified expression. With Gu Batian's arrival, a great battle was unavoidable. Whether or not the Jianghu domain could continue to exist would depend on the outcome of this battle. Wuxia was looking forward to this battle, but he was more worried. 20 days. Su Chen whispered and said to Zhang Chengkuan, Patriarch Zhang, Gu Batian can't come for the time being. Let's take this time to rest and conserve our energy. All right. Zhang Chengkuan nodded. The key to victory in the upcoming battle was whether Su Chen could defeat or kill Gu Batian. Su Chen had become their leader. Whatever arrangements Su Chen made, they just had to follow Su Chen's instructions. Behind him, Su Chen made the intelligent war chariot grow to a size of several thousand meters. He led the group into the chariot, then took out all kinds of fruits, wine, and drinks to entertain Zhang Chengquan and the others. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, he opened the chaos space and called out Chao Ran and the others to play poker together. Wu Zong and Zhang Chengquan were speechless. They secretly thought that Su Chen was really carefree. They were about to have a life-and-death battle, but he still had the leisure to play poker. However, this novel way of entertainment was really attractive. Wu Zong and Zhang Chengquan watched for a while and felt a little itchy. When they understood the rules, they also rolled up their sleeves and played the landlord game. So what if he was a God State expert? Could a God State expert not be entertained? Chapter 1145. In the blink of an eye, 20 days had passed. On this day, Su Chen and the others arrived near the boundary passage. Now that the boundary passage had been completely stabilized, Gu Batian might bring people to kill their way into the Jianghu domain at any time, so they had to be prepared in advance. As expected, on the second day, a powerful energy fluctuation was emitted from the boundary passage. There was no doubt that there were experts who had entered. They're here. Wu Zong focused his mind. Zhang Chengquan and the others from the Qinghe clan immediately became nervous. Gu Batian was known as the #1 expert in the Four Realms, and his strength was unparalleled. If Su Chen could not withstand it, they would all die here today. Su Chen's expression was very calm, and there was a hint of anticipation in his eyes. He had been waiting for this battle for a long time, and he had long wanted to exchange blows with Gu Batian. Suddenly, the first figure appeared in the boundary passage. It was a ferocious beast in human form, and judging from the aura, it was a God Realm 2 stars expert. When he saw Su Chen and the other experts, he subconsciously took a step back. However, he quickly reacted, and a hint of disdain appeared on his face. Gu Batian was about to arrive, and by then, these people in front of him would all be ants, so what was there to be afraid of? Su Chen, do you want to kill this guy first? Zhang Chengquan suggested. A God Realm 2 stars was considered a very strong opponent, and killing him could reduce the pressure on their side. No need, he's just a piece of trash. Su Chen did not care at all. To him, killing a God Realm 2 stars was just a matter of moving his fingers. Even if he killed him, it would not change the situation of the battle. And as long as he killed Gu Batian, this kind of trash would naturally submit without making a move. Since Su Chen had spoken, Zhang Chengquan did not say anything more and waited quietly. As time passed, there were more God Realm ferocious beasts entering through the boundary passage, and the number had already reached more than 20. However, Gu Batian did not appear. Suddenly, a violent aura shot in from the domain passageway. With this kind of aura, it was definitely a God Realm 3 stars expert. Was it Gu Batian or Kong Zonghao? Zhang Chengquan and the others turned to look at the domain passageway. The next moment, a silver-haired old man in a golden robe with a dignified aura flashed out of the interdomain passage. It's Kong Zonghao. Zhang Chengquan reminded in a low voice. He's just a small fry. Su Chen curled his lips in disdain. His main target was Gu Batian. Although Kong Zonghao was also a top-notch expert, he was still not worthy of his attention. Zhang Chengquan, why is your Qinghe clan here? When he saw Zhang Chengquan clearly, Kong Zonghao was surprised. Of course I'm waiting for you here. Zhang Chengquan smiled meaningfully. Waiting for me. Kong Zonghao's expression froze and then his face sunk. He said with a fake smile, so you're here to stand up for Jianghu domain. Previously, he had received news that a super expert had appeared in the Jianghu domain and had killed many God State experts in the vicious barbarian domain. At first, he was still a little skeptical. This was because he knew the situation in the Jianghu domain quite well, and there would definitely not be such a powerful person. When he saw Zhang Chengquan, he was relieved. Zhang Chengquan was also a God Realm 3 stars expert. Although he was at the bottom of the God Realm 3 stars level, it was still relatively easy for him to kill some God Realm 1 stars ferocious beasts. Zhang Chengquan smiled faintly. I'm here to help. The real main force was Su Chen and he could not steal the limelight. Chapter 1146. Help. Kong Zonghao was slightly stunned. To put it nicely, it was to help. To put it bluntly, it was to be an assistant. However, who was qualified to be an assistant for an expert like Zhang Chengquan? With doubts, He squinted at Su Chen and Wu Tsong. The rest of the Qinghe clan were all Zhang Chunkuan's subordinates. They were definitely not stronger than Zhang Chunkuan. Only Su Chen and Wu Tsong were left. However, Su Chen and Wu Tsong were only at God State 1 star. Obviously, they did not have such qualifications. Then why would Zhang Chunkuan say that? Was he deliberately mystifying things? Kong Zonghao looked at Zhang Chunkuan again and smiled gloomily. Zhang Chunkuan, since you said that you are here to help, who is the strongest person here? Zhang Chunkuan did not answer. Instead, he turned to look at Su Chen. The meaning was self-evident. The strongest person was Su Chen. Him. Kong Zonghao frowned slightly. Su Chen looked very young.
To be able to advance to God State 1 star at this age, he could indeed be said to be a peerless genius. However, no matter how monstrous he was, his cultivation was only at God State 1 star. How could he be stronger than Zhang Chunkuan? Boy, are you the strongest person here? Kong Zonghao glanced at Su Chen and questioned coldly. Su Chen pursed his lips and did not comment. Moreover, there was a trace of disdain in his expression. Seeing this, Kong Zonghao's face changed ferociously. A murderous aura that condensed into a substance lingered around his body. A mere God State 1 star ant dared to look down on him. It was simply outrageous. Boy, since you are the strongest person here, do you dare to exchange a few blows with me? Kong Zonghao said loudly. He seriously doubted Su Chen's strength. Whether he was more powerful than Zhang Chunkuan or not, he would know once they exchanged blows. Not interested. Su Chen shook his head and said indifferently, because you are not qualified to exchange blows with me. Not qualified? Kong Zonghao was stunned. Ever since he ascended to the 3rd star of the God Realm, he had become the 2nd strongest expert in the 4 great realms. Even Gu Batian had to give him some face. Who does Su Chen think he is? He actually dared to humiliate him in front of so many people. Death was not enough to be regretted. At this moment, Kong Zonghao's chest was burning with rage. A murderous aura that had condensed to the point of materialization spread out without reservation. His eyes were filled with bone-chilling coldness. Brat, don't talk nonsense. Do you know how powerful Divine Kong is? How can a piece of trash like you compare to him? The group of deity realm ferocious beasts were also infuriated by Su Chen's arrogance and clamored at Su Chen one after another. I'll let you jump around for a while. After I kill Gu Batian, all of you will die. Su Chen said calmly. Kill Gu Batian. A weakling at the 1 star of the divine realm actually dared to threaten to kill the #1 expert of the 4 great realms? This was too much of a braggart. All the deity realm ferocious beasts were completely enraged. Each of them looked ferocious as they rubbed their palms together and looked like they were going to tear Su Chen into pieces. Ha ha! Kong Zonghao sneered and looked straight at Su Chen. He said in a cold voice, Brat, I don't care if you're boasting or if you're mentally ill. I'll kill you today. As soon as he finished speaking, he charged towards Su Chen like a ferocious beast with an overwhelming ferocious aura. You're overestimating yourself. Su Chen was not afraid. He activated the golden scale arm and 100 times strength technique, took a step forward, and threw a punch at Kong Zonghao who was flying towards him. Crack! The punch was as fast as lightning and powerful. Everywhere it passed, the void showed signs of shattering. Chapter 1147. You're asking for it. Kong Zonghao smirked when he saw that Su Chen had chosen to fight him head-on. He clenched his fist and threw a punch in the air. He was 2 levels higher than Su Chen. His strength and defense were superior to Su Chen's. He could definitely turn Su Chen into ashes after that punch. Wu Tsong and the rest of the God State beasts widened their eyes and looked at Su Chen and Kong Zonghao. As for who was stronger and who was weaker, this punch would reveal the result. An earth-shattering boom resounded. Su Chen's and Kong Zonghao's fists collided without any fancy moves. The sky fell and the earth cracked. A powerful windstorm swept out in all directions, blowing Wu Tsong and the others and the God State ferocious beasts all over the place. In the next moment, Kong Zonghao shot backward like a meteor and flew thousands of meters away in the blink of an eye. How is that possible? Divine Master Kong was defeated by a punch. The God State beasts were terrified when they saw that. They never thought that the 2nd strongest person in the 4 realms would be at a disadvantage in a head-on fight with Su Chen.
How is your strength so great?
Kong Zonghao flew back from afar and stared at Su Chen with his eyes wide open. The disdain in his eyes had long disappeared and was replaced by a deep seriousness. He felt like he was hit by a giant mountain. His strength was as small as an ant in front of Su Chen. Su Chen's strength was terrifying beyond his imagination. He never thought that there would be someone with such divine power in the world.
Do I need to report to you about my strength? Tell me now, do you admit defeat?
Su Chen smiled contemptuously as if he did not take Kong Zonghao seriously.
Haha.
Kong Zonghao laughed instead of being angry and said coldly, "Kid, do you think you can be so arrogant just because you have divine power?
If I want to kill you, it's a piece of cake."
In a battle between powerhouses, strength was not the only thing that mattered. It was more about battle techniques, weapons, and supernatural powers. So what if Su Chen crushed him in terms of strength? He was confident that he could kill Su Chen if he used all his strength.
Then I'll have to see just how much you're worth. Bring it on. Su Chen provoked.
He originally planned to kill Gu Batian before dealing with Kong Zonghao. Since Kong Zonghao wanted to die, he might as well fulfill his wish. Then, he would have nothing to worry about and could focus on dealing with Gu Batian.
Arrogant.
Kong Zonghao flew into a rage out of humiliation, the veins on his old face bulging. He had been in the void for thousands of years and no one had ever looked down on him. At this moment, his killing intent rose and he swore to completely destroy Su Chen.
Clang.
Kong Zonghao for Lin Lin used for a moment sake suddenly. A murderous intent locked for Su Chen as for alls for a while. Possessing this ability, it was clear that this long saber absolutely belonged to the ranks of top-tier divine artifacts. Su Chen, the long saber in his hand is called Silver Moon Space Shattering Blade. It's a spatial divine artifact.
You must be careful.
Zhang Chengquan reminded with a solemn expression. Su Chen nodded his head slightly, but there was no fear on his face. All of a sudden, the sound of bones cracking could be heard from his body. In the blink of an eye, his body had risen to a height of 10 feet. At the same time, a violent pressure spread out. His cultivation also reached the level of Deity Realm 2-star. Since he was going to fight for real, Deity Realm 1-star cultivation was not quite enough.
Transformation Art. Deity Realm 2-star.
Kong Zonghao was taken aback. If Su Chen was only Deity Realm 1-star, he still had the confidence to win. But reaching Deity Realm 2-star, his strength rose comprehensively. He was no longer as confident as before.
Chapter 1148.
The other immortal state ferocious beasts were also horrified. Su Chen was already powerful enough when he was at immortal state 1-star. How powerful would he be when he advanced to immortal state 2 stars? Would Kong Zonghao still be a match for him?
Kong Zonghao, come here and die.
Su Chen glanced at Kong Zonghao and said loudly.
Creak.
Kong Zonghao ground his teeth and flames of anger shot out of his eyes. Just as he was about to attack, a terrifying pressure suddenly came from the boundary passage. It was slightly stronger than Kong Zonghao's.
Gu Batian is here.
Zhang Chengquan and the others' expressions froze. There was no doubt that it was Gu Batian who had such a violent pressure. A person's reputation was like a tree's shadow. Gu Batian was known as the strongest person in the 4 great realms. His strength was unparalleled. Before he even showed up, Zhang Chengquan and the others felt extremely pressured.
He's finally here.
Su Chen snorted softly, his gaze drifting towards the domain passage.
There was a loud boom.
A figure quickly rushed out of the boundary passage. At first, it was no different from an ordinary person's figure. However, it soon began to change dramatically and reached a height of 1,000 feet in the blink of an eye. It was like a peerless demon god with a layer of condensed murderous aura rippling from its body.
What a terrifying aura!
Wu Tsong and the others' expressions changed drastically and they involuntarily retreated. The moment Gu Batian and Tian Pu appeared, Wu Tsong and the others were intimidated. From this, it could be seen how terrifying their strength was.
Patriarch!
The group of immortal state ferocious beasts respectfully called out to Gu Batian.
Brother Gu, you're finally here.
Kong Zonghao sighed softly. Su Chen still gave him a lot of pressure. Fortunately, Gu Batian had arrived in time. Su Chen was handed over to Gu Batian to deal with. He did not have to take the risk. Gu Batian nodded slightly and then glanced at Su Chen and the others. When he saw that Zhang Chengkuan and the other Qinghe clan members were also here, a cold light suddenly flashed in his eyes and he said coldly, "Zhang Chengkuan, are you here to die?" After occupying the Zhanhuan domain, his next target was the Twilight domain. Originally, it would have been a little troublesome. Unexpectedly, Zhang Chengkuan appeared here. Now, everything could be settled in one go. Zhang Chengkuan gritted his teeth and remained silent. When he faced Kong Zonghao, he was still able to confront him. However, he did not have the slightest bit of courage when facing Gu Batian. "Gu Batian, don't be so arrogant. If you want to kill them, you'll have to go through me first." Su Chen took a step forward and looked straight at Gu Batian with a faint smile. Gu Batian was stunned. A 2-star god realm ant actually dared to provoke him? "Brother Gu, this brat is not simple. His strength is much stronger than yours and mine," Kong Zonghao reminded. "Oh!" Gu Batian exclaimed softly. Kong Zonghao was the second strongest person after him. To be able to receive such an evaluation from Kong Zonghao, it could be imagined that Su Chen must be extraordinary. However, he was only a 2-star god realm expert after all. In his eyes, he was still an ant. "Brat, you're very brave. However, you're still far from being able to show off in front of me." Gu Batian sized up Su Chen, smiled contemptuously and continued, "Seeing that you have such a cultivation base at such a young age, I'll give you a chance to kill yourself here." As the strongest person in the 4 domains, he was qualified to say such words. It was normal for him to look down on Su Chen. Chapter 1149. In the past, many people used this tone to talk to me. Unfortunately, they all died in my hands without exception. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and said calmly. As soon as he finished speaking, he gave Wu Tsong and the others a meaningful glance, indicating for them to retreat. The fight between him and Gu Batian was a life-and-death game. He would not hold back any of his superpowers, and the waves created were enough to destroy a level 1 immortal state star. Wu Tsong understood and retreated with Zhang Chengkuan and the others. Soon, they were dozens of miles away. "Brother Gu, do you want to join forces to kill him?" Kong Zonghao suggested. He always felt that Su Chen was very strange. In order to avoid any unexpected trouble, he wanted to kill Su Chen as soon as possible. Join forces? Gu Batian's face was sullen. He was the #1 expert in the 4 realms. Why would he need to join forces against a level 2 immortal state star? If this were to spread, it would be a disgrace to his reputation. "Brother Kong, just enjoy the show." Gu Batian rejected. Since Gu Batian had spoken, Kong Zonghao did not say anything else. He quickly retreated with the other immortal state beasts. "Boy, it seems that you want to fight me. I'll fulfill your request." Gu Batian glanced at Su Chen and smiled. Then, a golden long sword appeared in his hand. It was 400 to 500 feet long. The power it exuded shook the sky. It was not inferior to Kong Zonghao's silver moon sky-shattering blade. Gu Batian held the golden long sword and pointed it at Su Chen. He sneered, "Boy, to die under my sword-piercing sky is the greatest honor in your life. You want to kill me? You have to have the ability to do so." Su Chen snorted and opened his storage bag to summon the Thunder Sacred Sword. With a whoosh, a 3-meter-long holy sword surrounded by lightning shot out from his storage pouch and circled above his head. Thunder Sacred Sword. Seeing Su Chen summon a lightning sacred sword, Gu Batian had a mocking look on his face. His piercing heaven divine sword was a top-notch divine weapon. Not to mention a single divine sword, even 10 or 100 divine swords would not be able to withstand it. Was that all Su Chen could do? What a joke! However, just as he finished speaking, his eyelids suddenly twitched. A lightning-attributed sacred sword flew out from Su Chen's storage pouch. Moreover, it was continuous. After the second sword, it followed closely behind. Then came the third, the fourth. In the blink of an eye, there were 100 of them. Furthermore, the lightning-type sacred swords were still shooting out continuously. In the blink of an eye, there were already 1,000 of them. Looking at the sacred sword that was filled with lightning, everyone was dumbfounded. 1,000 lightning-attributed sacred swords. There were some people who never owned a single saint artifact in their entire lives.
However, Su Chen alone possessed 1,000 of them. This was simply inconceivable.
How could he have so many sacred swords?
Gu Batian was a little moved. His calm face showed a dignified look for the first time.
The combined power of 1,000 lightning-attributed sacred swords was no less than the piercing heaven divine sword.
At this moment, he finally understood why Su Chen was so fearless.
It must be because of the 1,000 sacred swords.
Su Chen actually has such a trick up his sleeve. Zhang Chengquan's face was filled with horror as he muttered in a trembling voice. When they were in the Twilight region, Su Chen had said that he still had a trump card. He was also looking forward to it, but he never thought that this trump card would be so terrifying.
This guy actually has such a trump card. Kong Zonghao whispered with lingering fear. Facing 1,000 lightning-attributed sacred swords, he knew that he would definitely not be able to withstand it.
Chapter 1150.
No, Su Chen has more than 1,000 lightning elemental sacred swords.
At this moment, Wu Tsong shouted in shock. Everyone's expression changed and they all looked at Su Chen. In their line of sight, more lightning elemental sacred swords shot out from Su Chen's storage bag. The speed was even faster.
In the blink of an eye, there were another 100 swords and there were no signs of stopping. 1,000 swords, 2,000 swords. It was only when there were 5,000 swords that he stopped.
At this moment, everyone was stunned. Even their breathing had stopped. A total of 5,000 lightning elemental sacred swords. It was like a dream. Even though they saw it with their own eyes, they still found it unbelievable. However, it wasn't over yet.
After the 5,000 sacred swords stood in the void, there was a terrifying wave of spiritual energy and magical energy.
Suddenly, 2,500 swords formed from spiritual energy, and 2,500 magical energy swords appeared.
Oh my god!
Zhang Chengquan's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. The others were also extremely shocked.
Their mouths were wide open and their expressions were blank.
What kind of superpower is this?
Gu Batian swallowed his saliva.
Even his voice was trembling.
He had been in the void for tens of thousands of years and had never seen such a terrifying sword-type superpower.
5,000 lightning elemental sacred swords, 2,500 spiritual energy swords, and 2,500 magical energy swords.
There were 10,000 swords. Their combined power was enough to shake the heavens and earth.
Moreover, Su Chen's identity as a full-time cultivator was obvious.
How can there be such a monster in this world?
Gu Batian's state of mind was shaken.
He had always been known as the #1 expert and the #1 genius in this world. However, with the appearance of Su Chen, the title of the #1 genius was probably going to be taken away.
This was because, judging from Su Chen's age, he was definitely not more than 100 years old. To be able to reach the immortal state at this age was something that even he couldn't do. Moreover, Su Chen was a full-time cultivator. This was even more proof that Su Chen's talent completely crushed his.
I have to destroy him completely. Gu Batian shouted in his heart. The titles of the #1 expert and the #1 genius were not to be taken by others.
As long as Su Chen was destroyed, this world would still be under his control. Submit to me and prosper. Oppose me and perish. Therefore, Su Chen must die.
Die!
Gu Batian let out a hysterical roar as he swung his sword down with both hands.
All of a sudden, the sword of piercing heaven in his hand grew to 1,000 feet in size.
Like a golden river of stars, it tore through the void and slashed down at Su Chen. The power of a single sword strike was terrifying. Wu Tsong and the others paled in fright, retreating 100 miles in the blink of an eye.
Good timing.
Su Chen showed no signs of fear as he stretched out his hand and pointed forward.
Bas!
The sacred sword trembled slightly, and lightning overflowed in all directions. The 10,000 long swords shot toward the giant golden sword in unison. They merged with each other as they flew, and in the blink of an eye, they turned into a blue long sword that was 1,000 feet long. In the next moment, the two swords collided without any fancy moves.
Boom!
Crack! The world changed color, and the void shattered. It was as if a planet had exploded, and the violent power swept out in all directions. Even though they were more than 100 miles away, Wu Tsong and the others were so shocked that their hearts trembled. They suppressed their fear and looked at the source of the explosion without blinking.
The clash of Su Chen and Gu Baixian's strongest killing moves would soon reveal who was stronger. Chapter 1151. When the dazzling light dissipated, the golden long sword trembled violently and was sent flying. As it flew, the gigantic sword shrunk continuously and quickly returned to its original size of 400 feet. Moreover, the entire sword was covered with web-like cracks. Finally, with a crisp crack sound, it shattered into countless pieces and scattered in the void. The piercing heaven divine sword was actually shattered. Witnessing this scene, everyone was stunned. How could this be? Gu Baixian's heart was bleeding. The Tongtian sword was his main means of dominating the void. Without this top-grade divine weapon, his strength would be greatly reduced. However, he could not care less about his heartache. After destroying the Tongtian sword, the gigantic blue sword came crashing down on him like a hot knife through butter. "You're too naive to kill me." Gu Baixian gritted his teeth and a layer of golden armor appeared on his body, emitting a dazzling golden light. At that moment he was like a god. His majesty was awe-inspiring and mighty. Su Chen pursed his lips with a look of disdain and pointed his finger forward. The gigantic blue sword cut through the sky with lightning speed and slashed down on Gu Baixian. Boom! Another earth-shattering sound was heard. Gu Baixian suffered a violent blow and his flesh and blood splattered everywhere. His 1,000-feet-tall body quickly disappeared and finally, he was only 10 feet tall. However, a part of the power of the 100 swords as one was depleted and the sword could not kill Gu Baixian who had the divine armor. Even so, it was inevitable that Gu Baixian would end up with serious injuries. At that moment, he was in rags and his breath was weak. He was no longer as mighty as before. A divine master was crushed. The faces of the immortal state ferocious beasts darkened. Gu Baixian had always been invincible in their minds. Who would have thought that he would be beaten to such a state by a 2-stars immortal state? Just a little bit more. Wu Tsong recovered from the shock and sighed regretfully. If Su Chen had killed Gu Baixian, the battle would have ended. However, if Gu Baixian did not die, there would be a huge variable. Su Chen had already used his strongest killing move. Did he still have any other trump cards? Would he be able to kill Gu Baixian? None of this was known. On the other side, Kong Zonghao heaved a heavy sigh. Su Chen's strength had shocked him greatly. If Gu Baixian was killed, then he would be in danger. Fortunately, Gu Baixian was not dead yet, so there was still a chance to turn the tables. Otherwise, he would immediately leave the Jianghu domain. "Brat, I have to admit that you are indeed very strong, but it's impossible for you to kill me." "Are you at your wits' end?" Gu Ba laughed wildly. He instinctively thought that Su Chen would not have any more trump cards. After that, he would madly seek revenge until Su Chen was completely destroyed. "You're too naive." A mocking expression appeared on Su Chen's face. After putting the lightning-type sacred sword into his storage bag, he aimed at Gu Baixian and used Drunken Life from afar. Gu Baixian was now at his weakest, and it was the best time to kill him. Kill him while he was weak. He would not miss such a great opportunity. "You want to show off in front of me with just a mere intent realm divine ability?" Gu Baixian was dazed for a moment, but he quickly recovered. As a 3-stars immortal state super expert, his willpower was extremely strong. Su Chen's Drunken Life could not do anything to him. However, Su Chen's punch was just a pretense. The second primordial spirit used Instant Phantom and appeared behind Gu Baixian. It aimed at Gu Baixian and punched in the air. Chapter 1152. Gu Baixian sensed a dangerous aura behind him and quickly turned around. When he saw that it was an identical Su Chen, he was stunned. But soon, he realized that the Su Chen behind him must be an avatar. An avatar would at most have half of the strength of the original body. Thinking of this, Gu Baixian was disdainful. "A mere avatar wants to sneak up on me?" As soon as he finished speaking, his face changed. At this moment, he clearly felt that the avatar in front of him had the same aura as Su Chen. They had both reached the level of God Realm 2-star. An avatar with the same strength? Gu Baixian was taken aback. What he saw was a 100-meter-tall astral tempest that suddenly appeared in the void and came crashing down on him at a rapid speed.
The energy waves that it emitted were destructive. What superpower is this? Gu Batian was completely stunned. Before he could even react, he was engulfed by the galaxy storm that swept over. What a terrifying fist skill superpower! Kong Zonghao and the others were so scared that their faces turned pale and their bodies trembled. Su Chen's 10,000 swords into one was already shocking enough, but the galaxy storm gave them a feeling that it was not inferior to the 10,000 swords into one. One person had two superpowers and his strength was unparalleled. At this moment, they clearly realized how powerful Su Chen was. Su Chen has such a trump card? Wu Tsong was stunned. Zhang Chengquan and the others were relatively calm. After all, when he was in the Twilight Domain, he had seen Su Chen use this killer move, so he had a certain level of tolerance. Bang bang. Crack crack crack. After a series of crackling sounds, the galaxy storm gradually dissipated. Everyone widened their eyes and looked at Gu Batian. They saw that Gu Batian was covered in blood and the divine armor on his body was shattered inch by inch. His aura was also extremely weak. Although he was not dead, he was definitely at the point of exhaustion. Gu Batian is finished. Zhang Chengquan and the others were excited. They could clearly see that not only was Gu Batian heavily injured, but his divine armor and divine sword had also been destroyed by Su Chen. His strength had fallen to rock bottom. As long as Su Chen continued, he would definitely be able to kill Gu Batian. Quick, save the clan leader. The group of deity realm ferocious beasts suppressed the fear in their hearts and rushed towards Su Chen. Kong Zonghao hesitated for a moment and followed closely behind the god-state ferocious beast. He understood that if Gu Batian died, he would not be able to live either. Therefore, he could not watch Gu Batian die in Su Chen's hands. Kill! Zhang Chengquan roared and rushed towards Kong Zonghao. Now was the best time to kill Gu Batian. He could not allow Kong Zonghao to ruin his plan. Scram! Kong Zonghao flew into a rage and slashed out with his saber, sending Zhang Chengquan flying. Then without stopping, he continued to charge at Su Chen. Do you think you can stop me? Su Chen smiled contemptuously and flicked his wrist. A silver light shot out and instantly turned into a silver giant that was 100 feet tall. Suddenly, a brilliant heavenly aura poured down and completely shocked the group of deity realm ferocious beasts. 3-star deity realm puppet. Kong Zonghao's face darkened when he felt the aura of the silver puppet. However, there was no room for retreat at this time. Kong Zonghao gritted his teeth and held the silver moon-shattering blade to fight with the intelligent war chariot. In terms of strength, he was stronger than the intelligent war chariot. However, it was impossible for him to defeat the intelligent war chariot in a short time. Chapter 1153. Su Chen then summoned the Disillusionment Blaze-Wing Divine Dragon and the integrated 5 Extremes Mountain to kill the rest of the God-State beasts. After doing all this, he looked at Gu Batian and said lightly, "You're indeed the most powerful opponent I've ever met to be able to block 2 of my killing moves in a row without dying. In order to show you enough respect, I'll use my killing move to deal with you. Su Chen, give me a chance to live." Gu Batian roared loudly. Even though he had lived for countless years, he still did not want to die. However, he was now a lamp that had run out of oil. Not to mention that he could not block Su Chen. Even a God-State 1-star could easily kill him. If he wanted to live, he could only beg Su Chen. Su Chen snorted and rushed to Gu Batian. He joined forces with the second primordial spirit to perform the 10,000 lights 10 shadows killing technique. All of a sudden, 20 shadows and 2 Su Chen surrounded Gu Batian. In the next moment, they used their own methods and attacked together. There was a loud boom. Gu Batian was blasted into powder without any suspense. From then on, Gu Batian, who was known as the strongest person in the 4 realms, had completely become history. Looking at the millions of fragments densely packed in the sky, Su Chen's lips curled up slightly. Then, he quickly collected the fragments. The number of fragments had reached a whopping 1.8 million. If all of them were exchanged for energy points, it would be just enough to buy a level 23 all attributes fragment. With his current strength, he could still easily kill Kong Zonghao and the others. However, Su Chen could not help but exchange for 1. His cultivation instantly soared to the God-State 3 stars. The patriarch is dead. After seeing that Gu Batian was not killed,
Those God-state beasts no longer had the heart to fight and fled toward the boundary passage. The integrated 5 Extremes Mountain and the Disillusionment Blaze-Wing Divine Dragon could not stop them at all. Kong Zonghao also did not want to continue fighting. Once Gu Batian was dead, Su Chen's next target would definitely be him. If he did not run, he would lose his life here. However, he was entangled by the intelligent war chariot and couldn't get away for a while. On the other side, Su Chen narrowed his eyes and quickly released the 5 Elements Thunder Purgatory formation. While trapping a group of Divine Realm fierce beasts, he raised his hand and launched a Pegasus Meteor Punch. As his cultivation increased, the power of his various divine abilities also increased. Amidst the miserable howls, all the deity realm ferocious beasts were killed without being able to put up any resistance.
Su Chen has leveled up. Wu Tsong and the others were pleasantly surprised. The Su Chen before his breakthrough was already enough to crush all opponents. After his breakthrough, who in the world could be his match? After Kong Zonghao sensed Su Chen's advancement, he was scared out of his wits. However, he wasn't someone easy to deal with. He definitely wouldn't sit and wait for death. He gritted his teeth, and a bright white light appeared on the silver moon sky-shattering blade. A terrifying power was released and sent the intelligent war chariot flying with one blow. Then, without hesitation, he flew straight toward the domain passage.
However, before he flew far, his vision suddenly blurred and he saw a figure in front of him.
It was Su Chen. Su Chen, do you really want to fight to the death with me?
Kong Zonghao suppressed the fear in his heart and snorted angrily.
Do you think you can bargain with me with a little power of faith? Su Chen sneered.
He saw clearly that the white light covered by the silver moon sky-shattering blade was the power of faith, and it was quite mature.
It was the power of faith that could send the intelligent war chariot flying with one blow. Chapter 1154. However, the power of faith was a great deterrent to others, but it was nothing to him. Because he had the City of Faith, which was the nemesis of the power of faith. No matter how much power of faith there was, he could absorb it all. Since you know about the power of faith, do you still dare to stop me? Kong Zonghao snorted and increased the output of the power of faith at the same time. Suddenly, the white light on the silver moon sky-shattering blade almost condensed into a substance, emitting a dazzling light and terrifying energy fluctuations. The power of faith could not only be used to attack, but also to help one level up. Kong Zonghao had been condensing the power of faith for more than 10,000 years. The reason why he didn't use it until now was that the power of faith was only a little bit away from helping him advance to Divine Realm 4 stars. With his aptitude, advancing to Divine Realm 3 stars was already his limit. If he wanted to advance to Divine Realm 4 stars, he could only do so through the power of faith. How could he bear to do so? However, due to the critical situation, he could only release the power of faith. And he also believed that with the power of faith as a trump card, Su Chen would definitely be wary. You're still too naive. Su Chen shook his head and sighed softly, then summoned the City of Faith. Suddenly, an extremely violent suction force attached to the silver moon sky-shattering blade. The power of faith was sucked into the City of Faith, like a whale sucking in water. My power of faith! Kong Zonghao watched as the power of faith that he had spent countless years condensing was sucked away. His heart was bleeding. Without the power of faith, not only did he block the path to Divine Realm 4 stars, but he also lost the trump card to fight against Su Chen. Su Chen, I'll kill you. Knowing that there was no way out, Kong Zonghao made up his mind and slashed at Su Chen with the silver moon sky-shattering blade. You're just a speck of light. Su Chen sneered and punched out with his fist. There was a loud explosion. The silver moon sky-shattering blade was blown away by the punch, and Kong Zonghao was blasted into pieces. He's too strong. Zhang Chengkuan and the others were shocked and excited. With Kong Zonghao killed, the battle was completely over. Zhanhuan Domain. Great victory. Of course, it was all thanks to Su Chen. From the beginning to the end, they were nothing but trash. Su Chen collected the fragments and returned to Wu Tsong's side. Then, he ordered the intelligent war chariot to transform into a spaceship and invited everyone to board the spaceship to talk. Su Chen, what are we going to do next? Wu Tsong asked. Gu Batian and the others perished one after another.
From then on, the Jianghu boundary was completely stable. If there was nothing else, he was prepared to leave the Jianghu domain and explore the universe. The next step is to exterminate the void beasts. Su Chen said coldly as a cold light flashed in his eyes.
Oh.
Wu Tsong nodded. The void beast and the heaven-scattering cultivator colluded to open the realm passage and almost destroyed the Jianghu domain. With Su Chen's temper, it was reasonable for him to destroy it. Su Chen, I plan to leave the Jianghu domain, Wu Tsong said directly. A mere void beast was not even comparable to an ant in Su Chen's eyes. Even if he stayed, he would be of limited use. Senior, you're leaving? Su Chen frowned. Soon, he remembered that Wu Tsong had planned to leave long ago. However, he was still somewhat reluctant to part with Wu Tsong. After thinking for a while, he said, Senior, why don't you wait for a while? After I eliminate the void beasts and restore order in the Jianghu domain, we can leave together. The vast universe was wonderful and he had long wanted to experience it. Okay, I'll listen to you, Wu Tsong said happily. Su Chen's strength was unparalleled. With Su Chen accompanying him, their safety would be greatly increased. Of course, he was willing to do so. After receiving Wu Tsong's reply, Su Chen turned to look at Zong Chengkuan and said with a smile, Clan leader Zong, if there's nothing else, you can stay here for a few more days.
No problem.
Zong Chengkuan agreed happily. Gu Batian and Kong Zonghao had been destroyed. Their twilight domain would not be in danger. They only needed to send their clansmen back to report. Later, Su Chen opened the chaos space and summoned everyone. He only ordered them to do one thing: eat, drink, and play. 10 days later, Zong Chengkuan left with his clansmen. Before leaving, Su Chen gave him a lot of seeds and told him about the fruiting period, which made Zong Chengkuan very excited. After sending Zong Chengkuan away, Su Chen arranged for people to eliminate the void beasts. A year later, the void beasts were completely destroyed. The Sun Moon Star Palace was also rebuilt at this time. 10 years later, the Sun Moon Star Palace became the strongest force in the human race and even the entire Jianghu domain. The two ancestors, War Sky and War Sky, advanced to the divine realm one after another. The Qi and Shang families, who had a good relationship with Su Chen, benefited greatly and became the second and third strongest forces. With the help of Su Chen, Qi Qingchuan also advanced to the divine realm as he wished. After that, Su Chen spent 3 years traveling the entire human race continent. He stayed in Qianyu Island for a whole year. Then, he said goodbye to his acquaintances one by one and took them to leave the Jianghu domain in the intelligent war chariot. They drove into the vast universe and began a new journey. You're tuning in to the Wisdom Diary YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.